Welcome to Straight Talk with John J. Nazarian. I'm Rose Turner with RoseSpeaks.com. John's guest tonight is Fifi Larue, the gothic clown of rock and roll, and his recent toy collection for needy children in L.A. got him a write-up on the KISS official website. We also have image consultant and TV personality Daniel DiCriscio. And for just a little while, it's me and Daniel in the studio waiting for everyone to catch up. I want to say a special hello to all of Ken Turner's friends and family listening from Missouri and other parts across the U.S. Yes, he is the geek behind the scenes here that keeps us all going. So, Daniel, I'm going to ask you first thing tonight, what do you think all these celebrities like Cher and the other ones feel about Dr. Klein, famous Dr. Arnold Klein, putting all of their information and the fact that they got Botox from him on his Facebook page where he's outing all these celebrities now? How do you think they feel about that?
Well, I'm feeling as though, I bet you they like the publicity, but, the thing is sometimes with, beauty and plastic surgery or any kind of things like that, there are secret women want to keep, Some women are probably a little miffed, even though it's very clear, because if you just heard, not the Jane Fonda, but she was just supposedly on TV on Rosie O'Donnell's show admitting to kind of plastic surgery procedures, and she has everything done. But back to Dr. Klein, I would assume, it's not a big old news flash. I mean, the people, of course they've had Botox from him. That's no news flash to me. But I'm sure that they're not happy, some of them, because, they keep their mystique. They're... this is my natural beauty. You know what I mean? So some of them are probably a little shocked.
Natural beauty, something like I have. Natural beauty.
Yes, John, just like you. You were a client too, weren't you? I'm sure.
And here is our host.
A client of who?
Dr. Arnold Klein. He's outing all the famous celebrities. Botox celebrities on his Facebook page.
Forgive me for I had a little bit of a technical problem here called I was running late. I just...
Why, were you in the bathroom again? What happened?
Fill me... I don't go to the bathroom any more than usual. Thank you for asking, though. Figures you'd ask a question like that.
I'm so glad we put adult humor on this show tonight.
Hey, we're family,
First of all, let me say Happy New Year to you, Daniel. Good to have you back.
Happy New Year, John.
I am never lost for the drama and the lunacy that can go on in Hollywood. Fill me in on Dr. Klein. As you know, I've been out of town for almost a week, and I just got back a few hours ago.
Well, John, it's been delightful. He has went up on his own Facebook page, of which he's blasting all over via Google alerts now, and now has beautiful pictures of Cher and lots of other celebrities that have been his high-profile clients that he has now outed to the world as part of that he's going to sell off the pictures and Princess Leia's wig from Star Wars and all that kind of stuff.
I saw that. I saw that. I didn't realize.
And his Facebook page is wide open for anyone to follow. So I was asking Daniel, isn't it kind of like, is it a wig or normal hair or is it really blonde? Don't celebrities in Hollywood not appreciate that their Botox is all over the Facebook now?
Let's try to get Gene Simmons' wig.
It's for John. John works with celebrities just like you do, Daniel, so I ask you.
All we need now is to have Fifi Larue end up with his hairpiece on Dr. Klein's couch, and God knows what that'll lead to.
The thing that's scary is that Princess Leia wig, I'm wondering if Dr. Klein wears it sometimes for fun, but, he said...
Only on very special occasions, I'm sure.
He said he's going to auction it off for starting at $200, I guess, which is really cheap.
Here's a visual for you. Dr. Klein getting himself groomed, as it's been described in a lawsuit, and wearing Princess Leia's wig. Boy, I tell you what, that could set Star Wars back on its ear. I just want to cover something. As I start every show, I always have some interesting little tidbits. As some of my people know, I and my family went up to Big Bear for a week. We just got back today. And I have to tell you something, quite possibly one of the strangest places on the planet. And I'm going to also say this, Big Bear is sort of like the low-end mammoth. I just didn't feel like driving 6 hours to go to Mammoth, and this was like an hour and a half drive up to Big Bear. We stayed at the North Woods Resort. By the way, if you Google these people, you get all these horrendous comments. The rooms are too hot. The restaurant, Stillwell's, the food is terrible. The staff is unfriendly. Well, let me say this. 90% of the staff are just absolutely wonderful. Diana in the dining room that waited on me a few times, I took a chance to eat there. She was great. The front desk people were great. The rooms, they're correct. We until the first room we had, it was either hot or cold. It got so hot it was suffocating. We had to open up the window. They moved us. Are
you sure you weren't going through the change, John? Are you sure
they
you're
moved
not going
us,
through the change?
You know what? I'm gonna give you the same attention I give Donna Kaufman. You interrupt my story one more time. Anyways, we got moved to a different room, and that room had no heat. But thank God it was in the 60s for the most of the part. And at night it did go down to about 45, 50, but it's okay. It wasn't bad. But, I don't know. I think for some people, when you've never stayed at a really nice hotel like a Ritz-Carlton or a Four Seasons or even like a boutique establishment, you stay at these places. The only thing I can compare it to, for those, just to give you an idea, the Northwoods Resort is almost to Big Bear what Circus is to Las Vegas.
Oh.
It brings in the masses. You've got the van crowd out there. You've got the ones that kind of roll in unexpectedly. That's the clientele, I think. Their restaurant is quite possibly not. It's not so. I mean, it's hit or miss. You'll either get a decent sandwich or you'll get a decent breakfast. I decided to play it safe because I was just going to go have. I was having oatmeal with sourdough toast and some coffee, and that worked out pretty well. My son Chris ordered steak and eggs, and the steak was pretty much a disaster. The first night there, we ordered nachos. That was just a terrible mess. It was such a bad mess that the girl that waited on us said, "You know what? I'll take that off your bill." But nonetheless, and if you ever go to Big Bear, let me tell you something. It's going to be up on our site pretty soon. There's a restaurant there called Paoli's, Paolis, Italian Kitchen. That is going to be one of the, if ever the world should give an enema to the worst pizza joint in the world, that's where the hose is going. I couldn't believe the hustle they had there. The food was horrendous. The pizzas are all pre-made. They bring them out in a pan and they go, "Okay, be careful, the pan's hot." The pan's aren't hot, folks. I'm going to tell you why, because there's no oven. It's pre-made pizza. They put it on a little conveyor, and horrible. My son Jonathan, he had fettuccine Alfredo. It looked like soup. Awful, awful, and expensive. It was almost like eating at Wolfgang's in Beverly Hills, except we were eating at Big Bear at Stillwell's. No, excuse me, not Stillwell's. See, I got both of these restaurants confused in my head because the food is equally bad. But Paoli's Italian Kitchen, that is the typical tourist trap that you hear about you'd expect to find in Mexico or some other faraway dump. This one's alive and well in Big Bear. I also thought that if there was ever a federal agency in charge of the registration and control of pizza, they would close them down. Awful. However, here's the upside. We went to a restaurant last night called Maggio's. It's out of town a little ways towards Big Bear City, and the food was great. We had Italian food again because I don't know why we did, and it was really great. But they have an interesting thing, and you'll see me taking the orders from our guests. You go in, you sit down, and then you go give them the order at the counter. Then they give you a little beeping thing. When your food's ready, you go serve yourself. They bring it to the counter, then you bring it from the counter to your table, which cuts out the waiter and the waitress, which I thought was great because I had nobody there to bother me. And but there is a picture of me taking all of our orders, and that'll be kind of a comical thing. But the food was excellent. After what we've been putting up with in Big Bear for the previous 3 nights, oh my God, this was like a breath of fresh air. But I am totally convinced that whole section, the so-called village, is nothing more than an attempt to separate you from your money. And I guess when you go up there and go skiing, you know, you want to go up there and blast around, you'll pay these prices and you'll accept the service. Another great tip: the movie theater. My son Jonathan and I went and watched Mission Impossible at 4:00 in the afternoon. I thought the place was closed. It was open, and the place was packed at 4:00 in the afternoon, and the tickets were $3.50 a piece. $7 for two people go to a movies. I haven't done that in 20 years. But the other thing that was interesting too, there wasn't a peep in the show. There wasn't a cell phone that went off. Nobody was using their cell phones. There wasn't any silly conversation. It was quiet. You could actually sit and watch a movie in peace. And the only explanation I have for that is this, folks, and I don't mean to be rude or to be picking on any background or ethnic backgrounds, but you know what? It's primarily white. It was primarily white people, and it was just unlike in Los Angeles. You have to listen to Armenians. You gotta listen to Armenians chitter chatter back and forth. They got their phones going off. You've got your other ethnic backgrounds. To them, the movie theater is nothing more than just another place for them to act like assholes, as they do in most of society in this city. But up in Big Bear, the white bread had this thing under control, and it was actually kind of enlightening. Anyways, John, happy New Year! I want to wish Happy New Year to John Simage, who also goes by the name of Fifi Larue. He annoyed the shit out of me, constantly wanting to come by and get toys from me. He was playing Santa Claus. I wasn't.
God, I can't believe this. And you're so generous.
No, I couldn't believe this guy. He was relentless. You want me to come by and get
toys?
toys?
I'm dressed up. You want me to come by and do this? No,
you want me to come by and do that?
Big. N-O.
And he got a write-up on the Kiss official site for what he did. With the
over
John, I guess
$1,000 worth of toys donated to the.
How much?
Very cool.
And only 2 weeks worth of time.
As annoying as you were doing it, I'm surprised you didn't have $10,000 worth of toys.
Hey, next year I'm going corporate. Ice cream truck, everything, going corporate. We're going to fill up an ice cream truck full of toys.
Oh, I know. Then he said he'd like to come by and visit with my grandchildren.
Yeah, that was the ploy. That was the way in. But you automatically said,
that's what I need.
A
crazy person, some guy dressed up as a killer clown wearing a Santa Claus. That could affect my grandchildren for the rest of their freaking lives. And he's doing it just to hustle me for $10 for a toy.
$10. The drummer from Kiss gave me $200. And then I went to Big Lots, and they wouldn't let me in the costume. They go, "You can't come in dressed up like that." And I go, "What do you mean I can't? I'm Santa Claus." They go, "Oh, no, you're not."
Who said that?
Big Lots, the store right there on your Lancashire. The drummer from Kiss gave me $200. I went straight to Big Lots to buy toys, and the minute I stepped foot in the place, the manager goes, "You can't come in dressed like that." And I go, "What do you mean? I'm going to buy toys." "Oh, no, you can't dress up like that." I go, "What are you kidding me? Here's my driver's license. I want to buy toys. How do you tell somebody you can't buy toys?"
Yeah, what country was that fuck from? I mean, what country was that person
That was a Hispanic guy. It was a Hispanic guy. I started pitching him out in Spanish. I go, "What are you, the Diablo? Diablo won't let me buy toys?"
Yeah, and at that, for you don't know, this is like the lowest end store in the world. I mean, you can go there barefoot and wearing pajamas, and they'll let you in. And poor John goes up dressed as Santa Claus.
Killer clown,
Santa Claus with a twist, and they won't let him in.
But they must have been scared he was.
They let me in. Finally, these two hot models wanted to take a picture with me, and I was so consumed of going to buy the toys, I forgot to even ask for a phone number or a picture of them. I go, "Yeah, sure, take a picture of me," but this guy won't let me in the store. And then they start going, "Oh, he's so cute. Let him in. He's okay." And
did they let these two girls in with their seeing eye dogs?
No, they were already inside, and I was going, look. I was starting to tell people not to buy from the store. I said, "Hey, this guy won't even let Santa buy toys. You guys take your money and go somewhere else. Let's go to Toys R Us."
Oh, God.
I was telling him I was going to write corporate. I said, hey, I'll mention you guys on the news tonight when I buy the toys at Toys R Us, and I'm going to say Big Lots didn't allow me in to buy toys. How's that going to look for you? And then all of a sudden he changed his mind. I did a John Nazarian on him. I said, hey, you know what? I can talk about you on the news tonight.
Here he goes. Now he's attempting to throw me under the bus because I wouldn't donate toys to his campaign.
No, the car. Remember the car? Your Escalade thing. You got everything squared up by mentioning your radio show, and then they carte blanched you. Remember?
Well, they've carte blanched me a lot because I bought a few cars from them, and but nonetheless, I'm not sure I pulled a Nazarian as quite the term I was looking forward to. I mean, that was really generous of you, John, but the bottom line is you did it to do nothing more than to promote yourself.
I
did.
I did.
And you know exactly
did that.
how
but
I feel about
self-promotion. I feel good about it because next year I'm going to be doing corporate, and I got to meet a lot of the firemen. Were really nice to me.
I can see you doing
when
Disney.
When I saw half
Go
my
by
van
Disney.
full of toys, they all were even. Guard Kemp said, hey, I want you back here next year. And I go, okay, next year it'll be full. And then the ice cream, my friend from Archie's ice cream truck business, he said, you know what, we'll fill up an ice cream truck. We'll bring free ice cream for all the families that come donate. And next year's going to be better. So my first year I did it 2 weeks, half a van. Next year, a full ice cream truck. I'll start on Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, kind of nice. Black Friday and you doing the Christmas thing. That's cool, yeah. Kind of goes together. You know what's funny is that Big Elf doesn't realize that he's going to be replaced by the big clown, you.
You should have saw him when you saw me.
You thought,
what the fuck is that? I mean, I was going, I got lots and lots of toys for you. And he goes, hey, wait, we're going to use you on the spoof right before the news. Keep that thought.
As soon as they said, we're going to put you on the news, that's it. John had achieved his goal.
Yeah, but he said we can't call you Killer. So then he goes, we'll call you a Kiss Clown. And then they said, Kiss Santa. And I go, man, Gene Simmons is going to be pissed, but hey, I got no problems with that. You call me Kiss whatever you want.
Daniel, what did you do for the holidays?
For the holidays this year, for Christmas and New Year's, or just New Year's? What do you want to talk about?
Jimmy, don't overwhelm me. Do Christmas first.
Christmas. No, Christmas I stayed in town and had it with friends and had a really nice time. And then New Year's had actually a shindig, which was pretty cool, and ended up going. John, you would like this one. I spent it with the Hollywood elite of Oprah's people, the producers, executive producers from OWN Network, and all those kinds of people. We had a New Year's Eve party, well, they did, up in the hill, and it was very cool, although I have to say, when I left the party, that's when my problem began, because I was coming down the hill, getting down to the flats of L.A., and I got pulled over by a cop.
Oh,
yeah, I broke my heel.
I thought when you were heading down the hill, I thought you broke a heel again and had to walk the rest of the way on bare feet. But what happened? You ran into a cop?
No, I got pulled over by a cop because of the arsons happening that night.
Yes,
so I would be a suspect.
Yeah, and you don't. Correct me if I'm wrong. You don't drink alcohol.
I did that night. I had 3 glasses of champagne.
No, but you're a big girl. You can handle 3.
I can tell by my picture on the website you put up.
You drinking 3 glasses of champagne, quite frankly, you're a big male, and at your age, you could probably drink 3 bottles and not be affected.
Yeah, but see, that's what's funny, because that's not true, though. I'm a lightweight, as they call it, where I can't drink much. But once I do, the party really gets started. So
once they shook you down and realized you had no matches or explosives, what happened?
Well, no, it was weird because, they took you out of the car, and they were saying they were looking for someone with long blonde hair and a ponytail or something. I had my hair back that night, so, and they made me put my arms behind me to search me, which I've never done. Whoa. So I said to the guy, I don't know how to do
this. This
Cops
is a little bit
are always
different.
looking for a guy with a long ponytail.
And did you see the ugly bastard? You know what's really... You know what's the worst thing about that story, Daniel, really? I'm being very honest with you. Did you see the ugly little bastard that they ended up arresting?
Oh, yeah.
And they thought it was you?
They thought it was, well, the sad thing is, they did that thing behind my back, which I was never had done to me, where you're supposed to put your palms back together. Never did that, so that was a test. And then, of course, he searched me, and then he went through something in my car that had a blow dryer in it, and he said, what's this for? I go, I do hair, and I go, actually, it's good for fanning fires. I told him as a joke.
And at that point, they handcuff you and took you in.
That's funny. But that's a little bit like yelling fire in a movie theater or talking about having a bomb on an airliner. They probably didn't think that was very freaking humorous, but that is a funny comment.
It was true. So then, of course, they pulled another guy over, and he was standing next to me, and he looked like Kato Kalin from the O.J. Simpson trial back then. And he's standing next to me while we're waiting for them to do the name search thing, the ID search, and we're standing there, and the other cop says to the Kato Kalin guy, he goes, so is this your girlfriend next to you? Referring to me.
Oh!
I said, excuse me? And the boy's like, no. He goes, I'm going to go see my girlfriend afterwards. And I looked at him and I said, me? You're talking about me? He goes, well, I don't know. I mean, we're here in West Hollywood. I don't know. So I said, oh my. But they were nice, though. They were all nice, and they let us go. And, it's like, oh, so sorry. And then the cop joked with me about Pamela Anderson, so I was like, okay.
They didn't mess up. At least you didn't cry and screw up your makeup. That would have ruined the evening for you.
But Ellen Barkin, I guess, had the same problem, right? She got shoved to the ground on New Year's, and I'm getting accosted by police thinking I'm setting fires in L.A.
No, but the funny part of it, I'm being very serious, folks. The guy that they arrested for that crime here in Los Angeles is a German national who has a thing about America, not liking it, and he's just an ugly little troll who's 24 years old. Dark brown hair, really. I think it was brown hair that he had, and one of those stupid little European, kind of like do-it-yourself ponytail to make yourself look like a lightweight Steven Seagal type look. And I can't imagine somebody mixing up Daniel for a suspect as an arson. This is really funny. So okay,
wasn't he like a manager for his mother for a sex ring or something like that?
One more comment like that, Fifi, you're gonna be put on moderation. Anyways, Daniel, what did you do for New Year's Eve?
I told you I was up at the house of an industry party that was up in the hill, way at the top.
Oh, that's the one you got stopped. So okay, then I missed Christmas. What did you do for Christmas?
Actually,
what about Thanksgiving?
Actually, it was the same thing.
I'm done.
I'm
done with Daniel. John, what did you do? What did you do for Christmas?
I donated toys.
After you sucked up to every possible TV camera in the city, what did you do after that?
I actually bought a nice big Christmas tree for my mother this year. I went into a Christmas tree lot, and they wanted $79 to $80 for a tree. I said, I got $45, and the guy goes, which one do you want? I go, want that one. Where do you want it? On top of that van.
Remember the year that you and I went out and brought a tree home because I didn't want to put it on top of my car, and you had an old van, and we put it on top of it and brought the tree home.
So how did you get a tree to your house this year?
I had it delivered, sweetie.
Oh, really? Anything not to donate toys, man.
He didn't donate, John? You didn't donate to him?
He donated in spirit. He was there.
Rose, Daniel, I've got something I have to attend to. I'll be off the air for about 5 or 10 minutes.
We'll be here.
Don't mention toys around that guy anymore. He gets pissed.
So, Rose,
I think
how are
he
you?
steps on too many little cars at home with his grandkids' toys. It hurts his feet.
So back
He
to
steps on
Dr.
train
Klein.
tracks and cars.
So Fifi, he never even gave you any of those pet rocks you were talking about that you thought
Hey, wasn't that? I could have got pet rocks from him. All you had to do is get some rocks from the backyard and magic marker, some eyes and a mouth, and he could have donated a whole bunch of little rocks.
Well, next year we'll work on him way ahead of time. But
I have a question about Carrie Fisher giving Dr. Klein $150,000 for his bankruptcy.
Yes, and she's on the page of the Botox people too. That's how he pays his people. Yeah. She's paying all this bankruptcy.
I wonder if he's going to pay her back.
I don't think he is. I mean, all the stuff he's going to auction off won't bring up more than $700,000. This guy has what I call a fatal relationship with the media. I mean, he just can't stay below the radar.
The radar. No.
Yeah, and so the
you know
more he
what's bad,
does,
though, is like if you really like know about him, he's done some major achievements and accolades for him, like major steps, and it's funny that it's like all this chaos,
Yeah, he was making $25,000 a month, and with Elizabeth Taylor, he's Cher. I mean, the who's who of Hollywood. People flown in from all over the world to see him. And now he can't even make $500 a day. All three of his mansions are in foreclosure. He himself, the trustee, is not making him auction this stuff off because it's not enough to pay off anybody. He just decided to do it, and it's like he can't stay below the media radar. Now they're checking out his medical license. Did he pump people full of stuff? And then there's the poor guy that had to counterfile the lawsuit about what he had to do for Dr. Klein, and that should not be in anybody's job description.
Right. But
I mean,
after finding that he's the guy basically who started the invisible injection kind of thing for all these Restylans and Botoxes and collagens, so you really can't see it in your face. It's amazing this is the outcome of it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of to bring him down. I mean, he did do something major in the world with his, dermatology, cosmetic kind of stuff. But it's funny how, how it spun it right around out of control,
Well, yeah, and that was one of the things. There was something about lips that was named after him, the Klein pucker or something like that he did with lips. So, I mean, from $25,000 a month with people flying in from all over the world to a Facebook page with pictures of your ex-clients who are celebrities is a fall from grace,
Right. Yeah, I mean, they're saying, Cher, Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton.
Dennis Dickinson, I think, and, which they're not all like shockers. You wouldn't be shocked if you heard they had plastic surgery, but it's just amazing the people that he did. I mean,
it was like everyone. It was the who's who of big famous people. I mean, royalty from Saudi Arabia flew in. It's just amazing that he was bringing in the money he was. And they said that his first mistake was he tried to start living like his clients. That.
Oh, that's a downfall. Yep, big time downfall.
Yeah, and that's when he bought the three, mansions that were all multi-million-dollar mansions and art pieces. And so it was once he deviated and started to step into their world permanently that he began to, outlive what he was bringing in. And supposedly he has some serious health problems that, is all under seal with the court. But, it is sad to see somebody that famous go out the way he's going out,
Well, didn't Dr. Hoffman kind of have a little, remember him, the plastic surgeon? I mean, he kind of had a problem when towards the end there, a few years back.
No, I don't
remember?
know who the plastic surgeons are, but tell us.
Oh, well, supposedly he did Michael Jackson and Ivana Trump, Dr. Hoffman, and Pamela Hoffman was a client of mine for a while, and I used to go to their house a lot, and Dr. Hoffman would tell me how Michael Jackson would recover at the house there, So it's interesting how things become scandalous towards the end, even with Dr. Dr. Klein right now. I mean, it's sad, that it spirals out of control, He's a dermatologist, not a plastic surgeon, but still.
Yeah, well, Daniel, you have a lot of famous clients. How do you separate that you step into their lives, like Pamela Anderson, when you're doing her or traveling with her on the set, doing her hair.
You said doing.
I do them. That's the front is the hair. I told John that before. I do the clients, but go ahead.
Yeah, but anyway, and then you level back off to just your normal life. And so, what causes people like Dr. Klein to get ensnared into thinking that he can live like his clients when he makes a whole lot less per year than what they make? I mean, what?
Well, you've got to realize that it's the celebrity lifestyle. I mean, let's go back to other people. I mean, you see it happen with all of them. If you start emulating a celebrity's lifestyle, it's going to be bad unless you become a celebrity yourself. Now, if you start that, it's almost like being a drug addict. You keep doing drugs and drugs and drugs, and then you become an addict, right? So, and then you go down, and you need intervention and everything else. So this is what happens with ordinary people or even successful people who are not celebrities. Celebrities, it's like eating so much cake all the time, like so many sweets, and it doesn't affect them. But if you eat too much sugar and sweets, as a normal person, you get diabetes, right? So, or anything like that. So this is where you got to be careful, because that fire can actually burn you, and that's what's happening with Dr. Klein and certain people. You have to know who you are and where you stand and where you belong.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's very easy to get enchanted by that whole lifestyle and pulled in. It's very easy to keep up with them, but you really can't. It's very hard.
Yeah, because they make 5 times what most people make, and
yeah, but
you read
they make what they make, but then their houses cost a lot to maintain too. I mean, their landscaper doesn't charge $20 to cut their lawn. Their landscaper, I mean, you're talking about hundreds, even thousands of dollars to maintain lawns. Their upkeep.
You can easily get lost in the celebrity world if you're not grounded properly.
I agree. I couldn't agree more with Daniel on that subject matter, and I'll tell you something. People have always laughed at me. They go, the celebrity PI, the celebrity this. You know what? I don't consider myself any of that stuff. Yes, me and my family, we've got a couple of nice homes. We certainly have some nice cars, but we certainly live a very, somewhat, on all other levels, a very conservative lifestyle. And as John said, and I remember when Bernard Lafferty took over the estate for Doris Duke, the house he was living in generated almost $3,000 a month in utilities, water and electricity, to keep the estate lit up and watered. And who the hell wants to put up with that? And Daniel also hit on the head too, is that you start to believe this stuff, and Daniel has seen it, and I've seen it, where sometimes the fans or the employees, you get these people who try to become employees, but in reality they're nothing more than overzealous fans.
That's true.
And they just begin to try to think that they too are celebrities. And that lifestyle, believe me, and again, Daniel hit it on the head, the amount of money it costs to do some of the crazy stuff these people do, and what people don't also understand is that sometimes that big fancy car they're getting, they got it for free. Sometimes those very fancy clothes they're wearing, it's all on loan. And the lifestyle itself can be a total shill.
And Fifi was talking about the lawn care that some of the real famous celebrities pay thousands in lawn care, not $20 an hour.
Well,
I mean,
agree.
In a normal house, somebody pays the landscaper to pay $20 to cut the front lawn, $20 to cut the back. Over there, these people got acres, man. I mean, the guy drives around a lawnmower. I mean, sometimes it's like $1,000 to maintain a house for a month.
To be honest about something, even with doing hair for me, I mean, the most expensive haircut I've ever done was $1,500. I know you're gonna be like, what the fuck? But that's the truth, and that comes with celebrity. You cannot have average people paying that. Even
I refuse. I don't know if you remember, Daniel, but I refused to pay that bill based on the amount of hair you cut. So. I thought that was outrageous then, and I still think it was outrageous. But go ahead, finish the story. I'm sorry.
Hey, but Lady Gaga deserves to get it, man. If anybody can get $1,500 to do her hair or more, go get it, man. Because
it's like really talking about a mutual friend of ours, Daniel. What does Jose get for a haircut?
Oh God, 2 scratchers maybe. No, just kidding. I think it was back then it was $300. I think he upped it now to $400.
$400 for a haircut from the little man with a hat.
Yeah, who takes 2 hours to cut your hair because I've experienced watching it. So.
And that include his celebrities like Elizabeth Taylor? He only charged her that too, or did he?
No, I don't think for celebrities like that he ever charged them a nickel.
See, that's the thing I don't understand. I've never done it for free. Okay, so I don't understand why you would. I mean, I guess I don't know because they're the people with the money, correct?
But
why would you do it for free? Why wouldn't it be smart to charge everybody? I don't understand.
We've had numerous cases over the last 20 years where celebrities or their representatives thought that we should be involved in their problem for either an incredible discounted rate or for nothing. And I turn my back on them. I'm not interested. I don't care. I don't care who you are. I really don't. We need to be paid. However, I can see where in some businesses, I think in some businesses, be able to use that name as much as Jose did, to go to every every single Sunday to be at Elizabeth's house, have her, and even when she didn't even know he was there, probably he was there. And that has some access. And I'll tell you something else. And I'm not going to say anything. I have nothing to say but nice things about Jose. And I think Miss Taylor was really a wonderful, wonderful human being, besides being one of the biggest stars in the world. But she gave out some incredible, absolutely incredible gifts to those that were close to her. And I was there for a few. I shouldn't say I was there. I was privileged to see some of the gifts that she gave Jose Bear over the years. And I can tell you what, some of those watches were worth tens of thousands of dollars. So, there's benefits.
Well, these celebrities that y'all work for, is part of the fee that you can charge them more is because they expect confidentiality about their personal lives when they deal with you, Daniel, and you, John, and you, Fifi?
I'll let Daniel answer that.
You're paying for the background of me. I mean, I've never had to sign a confidentiality with anyone because they know better, but I'm not going to play that game. A lot of people, it's trust. A lot of they let you in close, and it's a business. There's business to it. It's not just you're trying to rip somebody off. That's not what it's about at all.
Yeah,
day rate is way more than a haircut. It's not. The haircut was one thing. Day rates for anything else and other kinds of things, hiring me for whatever, it's totally different. But
what would you charge, Daniel, to trim and shave and freshen up somebody's genital area?
Dr. Klein, here we go.
Hey, I've had clients ask me. I'm serious. I've had a couple of women that are famous drop their drawers and ask me about that kind of stuff, and I'm serious. So, but I draw the line sometimes. Sorry, I draw the line.
Some of those old gals you need a sickle to cut through that.
No, I had to do a consultation on someone's pubic area because they're not blonde down there. So they just dropped it down and said, "What do you think?" And I just said, "Well, let me look."
Whoa.
It's true.
Yeah. Oh my God, that must have been that. In the case of Nazarian and Associates, we get called in usually by the management people and/or the lawyers on some of these cases, and quite frankly, one of our claims to fame is we don't keep records, and once the bill is paid, I truly, and as well as Rose and probably Julie can contest to, I forget things, and I forget them fast. The only thing I remember is what's coming in the form of a check, and after that's done, I could care less, and we've never, ever violated anyone's privacy. Now, I'm sure I'll get some what about in the Nicole Smith case? You know what? I was violated in that case. I was taken advantage of. And the fact that I responded back the way I did, too goddamn bad. And I remember all the little snide comments I got from these people. But you know what? They threw the ball, I hit it back. And anyways, but generally, like I said, over the last 20 years, our clients' confidentiality has never been violated by anyone. And, if we're around for another 20 years, we'll be the same way. But, again, we do work for these people, and I'll say this, too. Some of the most miserable SOBs you ever want to meet. But when they're in trouble and they're injured or they feel like they're injured, they're the best to deal with. Once they're well and walking straight up again, you got to go.
Yeah.
And so you do the same thing Daniel does. You can step into their world to do what you need to do while they're paying you, but yet you're grounded and don't expect to be like Dr. Klein.
Well, I covered that in my closing statement for the year 2011. That I enjoy visiting their world, and but I also enjoy coming back to what I call reality. And my reality is much different than most of these people's reality, and that's just the way I like it.
And you may be saner too.
And I'll tell you something. I'm going to say this with total sincerity. Both of these people we have on the air tonight, Daniel as well as Fifi Larue, we've all had meals together, hung out, and laughed. And I'll tell you what, the times I spent with these two gentlemen are equal or better than most of the time I spent with celebrities.
Because they're real.
How nice of you that goes. That's very kind of you.
Yeah,
it's true. I mean, the dinner that you and I had you mooched the birthday dinner off of me for you. and we had your mom come with us. Was that not a good night? I had a great time.
Oh,
the time
Daniel, I ever had, what was it, clams or oyster soup?
Shut up. And
what was that? That was great soup, by the way, but yeah, that was great. Thank you so much. That
you're
was
welcome.
Very kind of you.
Okay, so back, anyways, good, Fifi. Go back to being quiet. Now, with Daniel, when he and I went over to Cantor's and had a sandwich, we had the cookie. We really had a good time. And
we
I
had
mean,
a great
that
time.
to me, and that is to me the best because, you know, it's like I said, and there's nothing better than good food, but there's nothing better than good company. And like I said, these two gentlemen, and in the case of Fifi, we had his mom with us. It was great. We had a good time, and it was a nice evening. But most of these people are people that, quite frankly, you know, they got their public personas, they're personalized, they're in shambles most of the time. What you see is not what you get.
And a lot of bipolar stuff, too. A lot of bipolar personality changes.
Well, as long as you take your medication, you don't have that problem, do you anymore?
And so
no, but it's
some
true. I mean, knowing the celebrity, like these people that you know 24 hours a day in the media, if you know them, it's different. That's not the person you're going to know. Just no, that's not it at all. But see,
it's like,
you can sit there and put your blue in the face and talk about it, and people won't believe it. So you know, they believe they're this wonderful person all the time. You know,
it's like Lady Gaga's assistant is supposedly suing her or made charges that she was forced to sleep with her after the concerts. Or something. I'm not sure. And if I'm speaking out of school, I stand corrected. But there was some issue that her assistant was required to shower with her or go get her a towel and then at times take naps with her. Well, I don't know. I could see Fifi Larue taking a nap with Lady Gaga. And I could definitely see Daniel taking a nap with her.
Hey, listen. You know what? I was once approached by Madonna's personal assistant to do some painting for her house, not Madonna's, but the assistant's house. She goes, you know what? If you paint my house for free, I'll get you good jobs with celebrities. And I said, wait a minute, I don't even know who you are. You were referred to me. And she goes, well, I'm Madonna's personal assistant. And I go, well, I'm not even a Madonna fan, so it just still doesn't matter to me.
If she said she was Alice Cooper's personal assistant, you would have probably carpeted the house too, along with painting it.
That's what happened with Eric Singer. Once I met Eric Singer, I told him I'd paint your house practically for free. And I went over his house, gave him an estimate, and he goes, hey, this isn't free. And I go, well, I said practically. Practically doesn't mean free. I gave him a deal, but I didn't do it for free. You know what I'm saying?
No, I
use that word practically.
You gave me a similar deal when you painted my house, and 6 months later, when it was finished, it was perfect.
2 years later, I was done.
Yeah. It was when John paints a house, it's a little bit like the guys that paint the Golden Gate Bridge. By the time they finish, they have to go back across and stop painting it again.
Murphy Brown, the TV show, the painter that wouldn't leave her, he always lived in the house upstairs in a room. And Murphy Brown, the TV show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he died, right? That guy.
Yeah, but that guy, I'm like that guy. I'll come. I'm like I'll never go away. Job security.
Like a bad
John,
case
can I interject something?
What?
Can I interject something?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is like I said, it's not an unusual circumstance. It's just that it happened to me, but this is the first Christmas I had to go through without my mother because she passed away last February. And it was very hard on my family and me, but we all survived it. And it was kind of like a bringing it down thing right now. But I just wanted to say that I actually I survived it, for me, because that was a big deal for me, and my family. But we all went through it well this year. So, and that's another reason why it's going to be a good New Year.
The holiday season, for many of us who've lost loved ones and people that we care for a lot, it's like it's probably the worst of the worst of the worst. I think at some point, as you grow older, you begin to think of your own personal clock coming to an abrupt stop. And the holidays are probably the worst in the world for this. And I know from speaking to you back in that time, how close you were to your mom, and how difficult it had to have been to be the first year and not have her present.
It gets easier, Daniel. It takes time, but it does get easier. It really does.
Well, it was just rough for everyone due to the fact that my mother's the one who was the force of the family and carried it all through every year. Even when she was sick, she wanted the Christmas tree up and made sure it was up, So it was kind of hard. It was like there's something missing. But we all, I guess, grew from this, my family, and we made it through. That's all I could say. And that was a big thing for everybody on my end.
Well, I can see why you had a nice New Year's stand up in the hills, kind of celebrating.
Yeah, but then I got pulled over. But anyway.
And then you got pulled over for the German guy.
With my blow dryer. Fanning fires.
What an insane situation that was with the individual that was caught by sheer. He was caught by a reserve deputy sheriff who makes $1 a year, and this particular reserve was like he's only been on patrol as a reserve for I'm thinking it was just a few weeks, and he catches this guy by sheer paying attention and looking for certain details that were broadcast to the units, and he captures this guy, and when they had the guy handcuffed, there he was with the big, he had that big Cheshire cat grin on his face, and of course it came forward that he was a German national, and there was some issue about his mother being deported, and but Jesus, when you look at the blazes of these cars and these apartment complexes that were going up in flames, it is nothing but a miracle that there was not a loss of life.
Well, what was shocking to those of us that don't live in the world of Hollywood is how many people y'all have per square mile out there in apartments and homes. I mean, that was staggering.
Oh, of course, yeah. It's not just one person being affected. There's a lot of people in one little area.
Yeah, I forgot what he said, but something like 20,000 people per square mile. That's just amazing.
That might be low.
It's getting worse now. It's a lot worse now.
Whoa.
No.
I know one idiot back in high school days that lit a parking lot structure like that before, lit 2 cars up and it blew up, and nothing happened to the people that lived in the apartments. But the guy got arrested, got caught, went to jail for 7 years, and the first thing he asked when he went to jail, he wanted to be chaplain help.
He wanted to be what?
Chaplain's help. Chaplain's help. It means they keep you in a reserved place where nothing happens to you. But the guy was stupid enough to light something up like that, like what happened. He light up 2 cars underneath the apartment building, and he got caught, and he went into jail for about 7 years. And all during the time, he wanted to be chaplain's help. And that means when you go to jail, that's kind of a protective thing. But you still get messed up in jail.
But they protect you from other inmates.
Yeah. That's the first thing he asked. And the son of a bitch was stupid enough to light something on somebody's private property on fire. And then the first thing when he goes to jail, he goes crying that he wants to be a chaplain's help.
Everybody gets religion in the joint. I mean, that's the way it is. And the reason for that is that when I worked in the state prison system, the nights when the different religions would come in were interesting nights because they always brought, there was something like perhaps Kool-Aid or coffee or hot cocoa or cookies, and these born-agains in the state prison system would all get, they had their Bibles, they had all their crock of bullshit that they could come up with, and these people would sit there and preach to them, thinking that they were really making some headway.
Yeah.
And in reality, it was just a time it got them out of their cell for an hour or 45 minutes or half an hour, and they got to walk around and try to pass notes and all this. So I shouldn't say notes; they used to call them kites. They used to like to pass kites, and it was just something for them to break up their otherwise. Another miserable day in custody. What's that?
Did you say kike or kite?
Kite.
What did you say?
K-I-T-E-S. It's a slang term for inmate.
Oh, you're saying something about Jewish people. I was like, uh-oh.
No.
I couldn't hear it. I'm serious.
No, that's what they're trying to say about
it's interesting too.
They're trying to say that he's insane and he's got mental problems. I mean, obviously he didn't have any problems going around lighting these fires. So how the hell is he? I mean, how is he a mental case when he can go light? I mean, you got to be able-bodied and know exactly what you're doing when you're doing all that kind of stuff. There's no psychology or any of that
a lot
shit.
of
You're lighting the building on fire.
We know, look, there's not a doubt in our mind, and roaming our streets, there's all kinds of crazy people. Right now, they've got a serial killer out there in Los Angeles that's killing homeless people again.
Oh.
They become targets periodically.
Oh.
And it's I got to be careful what I say. No, and I think that's just too bad. Let's leave it at that.
But people know they're doing that stuff. There's no mental problem, and they know they're killing people. They know they're lighting things on fire. I mean, just
it's
when
just easy to get away with the mental, what's it called? The alibi of saying the mental illness and all. It's so easy to say that and get away with it.
But you realize even if they caught, and they have a profile of this gentleman on a camera, but you realize even if they catch him slicing somebody's throat, they're going to have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in prosecuting him. I don't see why they just don't let the police do their job and pretty much dispatch them directly to hell on the street. But we live in a time where you can't do that. The cops have got to be friendly. They got to be nice to everybody. If you're a homeless person, they got to be careful they don't hurt you. It's just it'll be better after the revolution.
John,
that way now.
Rose, what did you say?
I heard a statistic today that you would be interested in, and that is since the first of the year, there's been an officer killed on duty in the U.S. every single day. There's been 9 officers killed on duty in the USA while they were in uniform doing their job, and they had someone on CNN today talking about how tragic, how horrible it is for any police officer to get the call over their radio of officer down.
Well, you know what, and I'll speak to that because I know exactly the feeling that comes with that. And the reason for that, I think, and I've felt this way for a long time, the more society compresses and pushes down on the police department, limiting their ability to do their job, and if that means killing somebody, let them do that, the worse it's going to be. Because you see, cops today now are hesitant to pull that trigger. And I'm not trying to sound like a big shot here. I have pointed my gun with the intent of killing somebody hundreds and hundreds of times over my career. Because they always tell you, don't pull that gun unless you plan on using it. And I had full intent of shooting these people. But they did we went from, that red light to a yellow light, and then it started just getting, and then it went back down. And I'll tell you what, I never did it. But I am so disappointed in the loss of life in law enforcement officers because I really do believe it's their hesitation of not wanting to be grilled and crucified in the public media because they shot and killed some scumbag. So what do we see now? The scumbags are killing the coppers, and I'm not surprised at all.
Did you see the news on the 18-year-old girl in Oklahoma, out in the country?
No.
No, she was 18 years old. She lost her husband right around Christmas from cancer. She had a 6-month-old baby. She had 2 men breaking into her home. She was on 911 for 20 minutes. And Oklahoma, like Texas, has a castle law, which means if someone comes into your home and you fear for your safety, you can shoot them. And this little 18-year-old shot this guy dead with a shotgun. And they had the 911 statement where they were saying, well, we can't tell you what to do, but we will tell you
right. Okay.
Yeah, whatever you have to do to protect your baby. And
see, in California, we'd have to, if they're breaking into our houses in California, we got to make them a sandwich, make sure to pour them a hot tub, and hopefully keep them entertained enough where they'll just leave and not hurt us.
I saw that, John. I saw y'all don't have any laws like we do.
Yeah, well.
John Nazarian's family knows how to make good sandwiches, by the way.
Yeah, so all you assholes want to come and break into my house, come by. Maybe we'll make you a freaking sandwich before I blow your fucking brains out. Yeah.
Really good 4-course meals, too, man. I mean.
Yeah.
I saw that in California. Y'all have to back up, and you have to try to take every. I
mean, Mikey's a pretty good cook over there, man.
Members of the North Hollywood division.
He cooked me some chicken kebabs with some seaweed, and dude, it was the best.
Mike,
Are you
yeah,
done?
I've heard he's a good cook.
Are you done discussing my menus and my personal life with the whole freaking world
No,
here?
John already has to have a cooking show. They cook pretty good over
I'm
there.
over here saying, I'm making light of the fact that in California we have to make them food and pour them a hot tub and make sure they like us. And you chime up and go, oh, the food's excellent over there.
Better than Big Bear. You guys cook better than Big Bear.
You know what? I'd rather have you make me a sandwich and eat with half the stuff I ate at Big Bear, so I'm not sure if that's a really good example. You're unbelievable. You are unbelievable.
Those snow cones they had at Big Bear.
Snow cones? I didn't see any freaking snow cones.
The yellow is out in the ice outside the room. Have you ever heard that
John,
thing, yellow
I'm going to
snow
put you on
cones?
silence. You're going to be known as the silent clown of terror, or whatever the Christ you're known as. Daniel, what do you have planned? Daniel, what do you have planned for the rest of your year?
The rest of my year? Jesus Christ, already? Oh my God. No, seriously, just getting on. I got a lot going on with the music. It's on iTunes. I got some other concerts coming up, and of course my, as you would say, that reinvention of the reality show again. And then,
that reality show.
Shit,
that reality show's got more candles on its cake than I got. But go ahead, keep telling us about the reality.
That's right, honey. You just knew about it before everybody else. That's all. But no, and maybe you can be on it too. That'd be good. Have you on it too? But no, and then I'm just trying to this is the year that you have to move forward. And this is going to be 2012, and I want to go up and up and up. Even though I've been going up, I want to go up on a different way this time. I want to make sure because we're not getting any younger, even though I'm only 26, right? So,
26. Your shoes are 26.
I'm going to come to my birthday. We're going to have another party,
When is your next birthday party?
That's going to come out. It's going to be Friday on January 26th. I'm in negotiations right now with this company that wants to do my party. So we're going to try and do it in the last week of January. So hopefully you can make it.
Already? Oh my God! It seems like it was just yesterday.
I know.
And how old are you this year, Daniel?
John, I know you always have something going on in the media for something. What do you got planned for this year?
Do you really want to know?
Yeah.
Okay, today 2 producers came to my house. They're thinking about doing this reality show, right, called Extreme Makeovers for Senior Citizens, right? And they're caregivers. So I said, hey, come on in.
You should give him Daniel's name.
Huh?
You should give him Daniel's name.
No, that's okay.
So they're coming to my house, and they say, what can we do to help your mother better around the house? Oh, well, you could change my shower right here and give me one of those walk-in tubs. And I said, okay, we'll jot that down. Hey, I could use a new roof.
They should have called me first. Anyone coming over there with an open answer, with an open question like that to Fifi Larue, a.k.a. John Simmons.
They saw my Corvette. They saw my Corvette, and they said, oh, is this, what's it take to run? And I go, oh, I think the alternator's bad. Well, we could fix that. We could do a Pimp My Ride. I go, if you pimp this out, I'll kiss both of your guys' asses right now.
Oh, God.
Oh.
They go, oh, we ain't going to let no clown kiss our ass. I go, hey, you're going to fix my Corvette. I mean, it's the least I could do.
Yeah. I mean, we lost
John's seen my Corvette. It's it's going to be worth a lot of money someday because I own it still.
Well, will they redo the Corvette for you, Fifi?
Well, that's what they were talking about. I go, I told them, no, if this show's about senior citizens, just deal with my mom, take care of stuff for her, not me. And they said, oh, no, we got to do stuff for you, too. And I go, well, if you got your eyes on Corvette.
Wait a minute, I don't know what happened here.
Put some Lamborghini doors on there, and they go, oh, we don't know about that.
I don't know what happened here, but my phone just got dead, and it was all about when John was talking about kissing someone's ass. Well, look, we're running out of time. I want to thank our guest, Daniel DiCriscio, and I want to thank Fifi Larue for joining myself, Rose, and Ken Turner. And once again, folks, this is another evening of Straight Talk with John J. Nazarian, and I cannot thank you enough for listening in. And if tonight's show is a little bit too risque, we'll be better in the future. Good night.